The following is a remake of a previous video. Yo, Culture Confederates, it's Friday. Happy Friday. Culture Confederacy here. And you know what that means. Time for another Oddly Friday News episode. But this time it's a special edition as we talk about Charlie Kirk. Crime, conspiracy, you name it. So I've been thinking about what's happening with Charlie Kirk, TPUSA. And thank you again for watching and subscribing if you've been with me for a while. And if you're new, we don't use any fancy graphics here, so what you see is what you get. But I've been thinking about this whole thing with Charlie Kirk, TPUSA, Erica Kirk. And there's a lot of conspiracy theories out there, so I'm not a conspiracist. You need to put that out there for you. And I don't think that there was this nefarious plot necessarily at TPUSA to take Charlie Kirk out. But I think what you did have happen was a parallel sequence of events for both Tyler Robinson, TPUSA, and somehow they collided. They collided when Tyler Robinson apparently or allegedly shot Charlie Kirk. But I've been looking at the footage of this because remember there were two tents that day on the grounds or in that area, meeting area at UVU. And what really struck me is watching that footage, it just seemed a little odd that the crowd was moving toward the scene of the incident rather than away from it. Now, generally speaking, you would move away from the scene of some type of crime. You would be moving towards it. And you wouldn't be messing with anything that surrounds that crime scene because that's contaminating the crime scene. But now it's coming out, according to Project Constitution, they posted this on X, that Terrell Farnsworth, remember him? He's the guy who apparently took out the SD cards from those cameras that were in the tent behind Charlie Kirk. We don't know why. Then he lied about it. Well, it turns out that his cousin is Michael Burt, a well-known San Francisco attorney who is on Tyler Robinson's defense team. Can we say conflict of interest? Not only that, but Terrell Farnsworth's father-in-law was the former EVP, Executive Vice President, and COO, Chief Operating Officer, can I talk today, of Duncan Aviation. Duncan Aviation is related to those Egyptian planes that Candace Owens was talking about that were seen on the day of Charlie Kirk's assassination. So maybe Candace Owens is actually onto something here. Maybe she's not crazy, Mark Levin, Ben Shapiro. And I'm neutral on people like Candace Owens or Tucker Carlson, even Ben Shapiro. But some things just don't add up here. They just don't add up. And I think what happened with Tyler Robinson, because I keep going back to this one photo. I don't know if you've seen this. And it was circulating for a little while on, I think, Reddit. But there was a photo of Tyler Robinson in this diner. And the name of the diner, by the way, is the Black Bear Diner. Now, the Black Bear Diner has locations towards the West Coast. So more out west than on the East Coast. I don't even think they have any locations on the East Coast. But they do have a location in Aurora, Colorado. And I believe that this photo was taken in Aurora, Colorado. But the odd thing about this photo, if you look closely, and at the first glance of it, you don't catch it. You first look at this photo, you don't see it. But the more you study it, some things start standing out. Number one, you'll notice in that photo, he's sitting there eating or posing eating his pancakes with his eggs on top of his pancakes, and that was the big debate. Does Tyler Robinson eat his eggs on top of his pancakes? So he's sitting there posing, about to eat these, or his eggs on top of his pancakes and eggs. But there is oddly nobody sitting behind him in the booth behind him. And nobody off to the side of the picture. It's like the restaurant is completely empty. Now, he may have been in there at a time when it was their downtime. That's possible. but it was a slow day. But who took that photo? And if it was taken in Aurora, Colorado, and I asked this before in a previous video, did Tyler Robinson live in Aurora, Colorado? Because what I think happened, just my humble opinion here, I think that Tyler Robinson was in fact known to the authorities prior to this Charlie Kirk incident. And that somebody somewhere dropped the ball, that he may have had some mental problems, maybe he was in juvenile hall, perhaps his family lived in Aurora, Colorado, but he's got some type of connection to Aurora, Colorado. I'm pretty sure of it as the sun comes up in the morning. But I'd like to know who took that photo. And if he was in Aurora, Colorado, who did he associate with? And if he was known to the authorities, did he have these mental issues? Does he have a juvenile record? And they're trying to hide that. Pardon me. So I think what happened is that somebody dropped the ball. They knew this was a guy who had some issues. And at the same time, TPUSA was dealing with maybe some financial issues. Money was being purposed to the wrong place. Charlie Kirk may have found out about it. They were having these internal debates about what causes they were going to support, i.e. Israel, you name it. And so when Tyler Robinson committed this act allegedly, everything just kind of melded together. So I think that's really what happened. Sounds to me like the most logical, most probable thing that would have happened. But I want to hear from you. Tell me what you think. What do you think happened? Do you think this was a conspiracy within TPUSA to take out Charlie Kirk? Is Charlie Kirk still alive? Was this all staged? Because you got a crowd moving toward the scene and not away from it. And there were 2 tents that day. Remember the purple tent? What was that purple tent for? We don't know. Why were they taking out SD cards from these cameras behind Charlie Kirk in the tent? And then they lie about it? Why is there a conflict of interest with this attorney who is related to Terrell Farnsworth, who took out those SD cards? And perhaps maybe Tyler Robinson wasn't the one on the roof who fired the shot. We may never know. But how could you not notice somebody climbing on a roof that day in broad daylight, or coming off the roof that day in broad daylight? So I want to hear from you. Let me know in the comment section below. Thought I'd share this with you. Again, a remake of my Friday video, our late Friday news segment, Charlie Kirk, conspiracy, crime. Tell me what you think. As I said, you can follow me at Instagram at Jason197711. Find me at Substack or go to Culture Confederacy at Culture Confed1 on X. I'll catch you next time, and y'all have a great weekend. Take care.